Hello again. Here I am working with Prendar, and something I wanted to look at was what exactly is bothering you by doing element by element. Is it the bit, the bridle? Is it the saddle? Is it both? So this day I had already put a bridle on him, and I knew that there was quite a bit of emotional load having to deal with the bridle. And today I wanted to put the saddle on. The saddle didn't really bother him as much as I might have thought it would. But he was still a little frozen after I put it on. I think this was the first time. Of course, I have to keep in mind that it had probably been years since he had been saddled. So I decided to do a little in-hand work to see if I could kind of unfreeze him and get him out of that stuck space. And here is asking him to extend the neck a little bit. See, mobilize the jaw, extend the neck. See if I can get him moving a little, not just moving in such a way that he's breaking loose in the emotions. There we go. There's a little bit. Instead of being frozen, but I also don't want to get up in there and be like, hey, you need to do XYZ. I just want to see if I can get him thinking by repeating something that we do on a regular basis. That's why I have so many things and details involved in their education, so that I have something to go to that they know that I've repeated each day that's easy for them to do. It's also a good kind of diagnostic for me of where their mind is at or where their emotions are at, is how do they come to something they do every day? Are they having a hard time with it? Well, that tells me a lot because it's a daily occurrence. It's a daily repetition. He didn't mind the saddle being cinched, so I didn't see any problem there. But right here, we start seeing that twisting of the neck and the anxiety in his mouth. And so, again, this is something we do every day. We lunge a little bit, and his emotions are coming up. And so I'm observing and I'm seeing, okay, what can I do to help? And I also, since it's the first time I've saddled him and the first time I will have ridden him, because I'm voicing this over later, am just doing a lot of observation. What exactly are we dealing with here? And for him, he's a fairly quiet horse, so that snaking of the head is a fairly extreme expression for him. And so I definitely take note of that because I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a lot for this guy. And again, we see the twisting of the pole. That behavior is definite stress behavior. And here I wanted to remind him of another thing that he knows, and that is, let's step out away and not come in so far. Because if I can send the horse out to the contact on the lunge, then we can have more of a conversation instead of him just being what I would call a loose horse. Again, we have a lot of emotional load connected to either the bit or the saddle, or both. It could be the combination. And so I want to return and use having him on the contact of the rope to see if that steadiness and that connection can help him emotionally regulate better. And here is a better result. He slows down and walks of his own accord. But that's right there is a lot of either frustration, fear, anxiety. So he seemed quiet enough that I wanted to explore what would happen if I, got on. And it was a lot of stop and go, stop and go. And I'm not going to push him into going if he's stuck at stop, because that could lead somewhere you really don't want to go, which is an emotional explosion of sorts. Can be of a lot of sorts. We don't want to go there. No good for him, no good for me. So I want to simply go around to the left a time or two. I want to, again, observe, what are you trying to tell me is the problem? What are you struggling with? How can I help? So, these are just, again, interesting behaviors. The twisting of the neck is a sign of anxiety and stress. The overactivity in the mouth backs that up. And what I want to do also is, even in the first ride, lay down a little bit of how I want to talk to him. I want to have a soft connection with the bit, and I want to maintain the connection to be supportive of him. Some would say, well, why don't you ride him in a cavesson? And one of my main explanations is I don't want them to have this emotional hotspot of a bit. And since one of my focuses is bit and mouth education, I want to work through it, not just avoid it, because evidently, very clearly, something happened or didn't happen where he has anxiety under saddle and with the bit.